Okay, good night once again to our CDP Labs Edge Services faithful subscribers, and welcome to our new subscribers as well, and for those who will be viewing with us. Now, um, welcome back again. And of course, I'm not sure if any of you went to the website and of course, um, you know, did your due diligence, which is to access the worksheet at the website that we'll be using weekly. Of course, we did not upload a new worksheet this week because we weren't through with the last two questions. And hopefully tonight we can complete the last two questions. And then for next week, we'll upload a whole new worksheet in a different unit. So still helping to prepare the exam, help preparing students for exam for January and May, June. And I ask that you will share the link with those persons you know who have exams next year. And of course, um, if you have not yet subscribed, as usual, subscribe if you think that this channel is a channel that will help you. And if you like the presentation tonight, then of course, go ahead. And CDP Labs Other Services like an interactive audience. So we just ask that you can participate in, let us know where you're watching from. You can present your answers as well. So just want to go into a bit of, we're looking at relations, functions, and graph. Going through CXC possible questions and just want to kind of, you know, help you to get a better understanding of what a function really is, right? Now, what you're looking at here on my screen is a function machine. And of course, these numbers here, you'd have seen these numbers are considered to be what we call uh, the input. And over this side is what we call the output. Good. So, of course, we have a variable x on this side. So you notice there's no numbers on this side, right? Absolutely none. So let's say that I put in the variable x into our machine, but there's no output. And let's say that I'm going to put a number 6. So if you notice now, I put in one input rather, and then it went into the output section. Then I put a 6. All right. What if I add a +1 to this? If you notice what happened, the function that we have there is x plus 1. X plus 1. Because we had an x plus 1 there. Now, what if we had another one there? X plus 2. Good. Now, what if I had a 7 right here? We'll get 8. Now, let's restart that for you to see exactly what happened. Now, I'm going to put, say, +1, and I'm going to put a 3 inside. So you recognize that in the function machine, the number 1 was added to the what? Input number. Good. Now, let's say that I had another +1 in it. It affects it. Increase it to 2. Now, what if I put an x in the story? I know of what? X plus 2. Where the 5 went. Let's put a number 5 here now. So now I have 7. Why? because whatever value x is, it's going to be increased by 2. Let's say I put a 6, might see a 8. Let's see. There you go. You see a 8 because the value of x is increased by what? 2. Let's say I put a 2. The value of x, once again, is increased by 2. So that's how the function works, as I showed you in last week's class. Now, that's just a bit of appetizer as to how CDP Labs works with our students. These are some of the virtual manipulatives that we utilize in the classes. Um, it would not be me as a teacher explaining anything for the students. They have to utilize the machine, they have to observe, they have to, I tend to pick their brain because we function on developing the mind, developing the skill so that the students can perform well in any maths exam. So if you need help with preparing for your CXC exam, then of course I'd encourage you to sign up with CDP Library Services. And if during the session that you wish for the link to sign up, then of course it will be sent to you in the chat. All right. So let's now, without any further ado, let's move on to our first question for tonight. Okay. So the first question, part A, says the quantity varies inversely as the square of V. Sorry, the quantity P rather varies inversely as the square of V. Now, please note, there are some words that we must pay attention to. Varies inversely as the square of V. Now, you must know what the square of V means. Now, the square of V simply means V square. Good. Now P now varies means it changes. Good. So it as P varies inversely as the square of V. Now, what does the phrase varies inversely means? Now, that is important to know. You can't just read the question and just, be there like that. It's important to know what that actually means. Now, varies inversely really means that when one quantity increases, the other quantity decreases proportionally. Let me read it again. Varies inversely means that when one quantity increases, the other quantity decreases. Hence the word inversely. Good? And vice versa, resulting in a constant product between the two variables. Now, how do we write, and I don't want to mix up varies indirectly with varies inversely, but there are two different ones. Now, in terms of the formula or the format for varies inversely, I'm going to show you what that is now. You're going to have what we call y is equal to the constant k divided by the variable x. Good. So they ask, use the letters p, v, and k, form an equation connecting. Note it says now, use the letters p, v, and k. It means that In the equation that you're going to form, the letters P, V, and K must be a part of it. Now it's one mark, so it's not that difficult, right? Form an equation connecting the quantities P and V. So let's do that. Remember, this is the format. Now the quantity P varies inversely as the square of V. So if the square of V changes, it will affect what? P. Therefore, P would be Y, or dependent variable. K as our constant, common K, and V being, and I will put V square rather. Good? And that would be your answer. Okay? So P equal K divided by V square. Now, part 2 says that given that V is equal to 3 and P is equal to 4, determine the positive value of V when P is equal to 1. Now, first, before you can actually arrive at your answer, you then would have to find the value of the constant. How then do we find the value of the constant? Now, to find the value of the constant, we should use the information given here first to find the value of the constant. Now, let me use this available space right here, if you don't mind. Now, P is 4, so we're substituting. We don't know the value of K, but we know what V is equal to 3. And it should be what? Squared. You can write this over 1 if you wish. Now, as we have learned, probably about something back in school, that we need to then now cross multiply. So 4 times the square of what? V. 4 times the square of V. So 4 times the square of V would be, say that K then is equal to 4 times the square of V. Therefore, K is equal to what? 4 nines, 36. So step number 1 then in this part, if you should see a question like this in the exam, that you need to um you need to first establish what the function is, and having established what the function is, then you'll be able to now use the given information to determine the value of K, which is a constant, and then you now use that information to help you to determine the positive value of what is asked for. So now we have that. So we know what K is. So let's write K somewhere up here so we don't forget. So K then equal to what? 36. So let us now erase. No, not everything. Gosh. So we'll erase this part right here. Okay. Now, so now we know what K is. We want to find V. But we know that P is equal to 1 and K is 36. Now we need to know what V is. That's an obvious answer, isn't it? Very obvious answer, right? Very obvious answer. Now, please bear in mind that this is V squared, okay? But we need to know what V is equal to. Now, cross multiply again So 1 times v squared is, of course, v squared. The v squared is equal to 36. Now, to find out what v is, then we'll have to find the square root of both sides of the equation right here. And therefore, the square root of v squared is v, and the square root of 36 is what? 6. Because 6 sixes give you 36. All right? So that is that. So the answer then for part 2 would be 6. All right. So now we're going to go to part B of the question. Not so difficult, is it? Now, it says, given that x is a real number, solve the inequality. Now, I'm going to use GeoGebra for a moment for you to get an idea as to what does this mean. Let's go to GeoGebra, and I'm going to plug them into the plug that exact expression in the graph and see what happens. So we have minus 7, and we're going to put uh, minus 7, 3x. If you notice though, what has happened here, that we have minus 7, which is, well, okay. We have minus 7, which is that 3x is greater than minus 7. So everything on this side here would be a true reflect. All these values here would make this statement true. Because if you plug in negative 2 for the value of x here, it will be negative 6, which will be greater than negative 7. If you plug in negative 1 for the value of x here, it becomes negative 3, which is still greater than negative 7. If you plug in 0, it's still greater than negative 7. If you plug in 1, you make 3. So all of x values on this side here, if plugged into this expression, will make this expression true. So what they're really asking you then is to find the values of the values of x that will make the expression true. That's what they're asking. Now I'm going to add the remaining information to that. Again, if you notice, we have a broken line right here. Broken line. It suggests, that broken line there is to suggest that a possible x value to make the expression equal is negative 4. But negative 4 is not. The expressions are not equal. One side is greater than the other side. Now, we're going to put in another expression. And this time I'm going to put in trying to put in greater than or equal to. So let's get rid of this. Okay, let me put in the symbol that I'm looking for. Oh, yep. Looking for a symbol. Okay, so this is a symbol I need to have So let's remove that one from there, and I should be putting in this one, greater than or equal to 7. So if you notice now, the space has narrowed. It has narrowed. So what we're saying now is that this expression, this middle expression here, that's the key thing to notice now. The middle expression right here. What is it saying? It is saying that this function, 3x plus 5, is the x values that will make this function true to this inequality here is between 4 and less than 1. Good. So that's a fraction right there. And perhaps that would be somewhere 2/3. Good. So we'll do calculation to determine what that is. Now, but the x value is greater than -4. So I want you to see what does it mean when you see this thing written on the exam paper. It is simply saying that to make this expression true, the x values fall between the ranges of -4 to a number less than 1, and in this case, that would be 2/3. Now, I've not yet started to calculate or to help you determine how to arrive at those values just yet, but I've used the graph to let you see what it means. Now, if this graph helps you to understand what this expression means, then you can say it in the chat. Say something in the chat. Yes or no? Does it help you to understand what it means? So let's get back to it again. So let's just repeat what I just said so you can understand. So we're saying now, what the graph is illustrating, what the graph is showing you is that the expression here, which is the function, for it to be true, for it to be a true statement, because it is a statement, it is saying that the function 3x plus 5 is greater than -7, but less than or equal to 7. Now the values now to make this function true lies between -4 and a value here 2/3. Now if you notice that this line here, this line, and let's say we could bring up the table. All right, we're not going to get that the table here. Okay. Now, if you notice though, that this line is a solid line. Or if it's a solid line, it would mean that whatever value there is equal to x. If it's a broken line, whatever value there, it's not equal to x. Okay? There's two complete different things right there. All right. So let's then go back now to the question. And then we'll come back to the graph shortly. Now, for those who have just coming on to our live, welcome to CDP Labs and Services. We love a very interactive session. So we're going to ask that you put your comments in the chat so you can be identified, and of course, you know, we can communicate. Let's talk. Let's talk. All right. Now, so I just showed you the answers using the graph. Let us calculate. Let's solve the inequality. Now, we're going to take it part by part. So we're going to take it part by part. That's how you do it. This part first, And then, this is use a different color, this part second. So there's two parts, not just one, two. So let's use the purple part first. So -7 is less than 3x plus 5. And note, it is a function. Now what we do, we replace this inequality sign with an equal sign. So we say -7 is equal to 3x plus 5. Then we solve now for x. So I love to rewrite it this way. 3x plus 5 is now equal to -7. Good? Everybody understanding? Yes, I'm talking to you guys in YouTube watching the channel. Let me know if you're understanding. Talk to me, man. Work with me. Work with me. All right. Now, if you're not seeing the screen, if you're not seeing what the question, let me know so I can increase the zoom the screen out some more so you can see. Let me know if you need me to do that. All right. So let's see if I could put another bit more on it. Hopefully you'll be able to see what's going on. All right. Let's continue. So 3x is now equal to -7 minus 5. Let's go up to the top here. So 3x is now equal to -12. And it is saying to us what number when multiplied by x, by 3 rather, will give us -12. Of course, that would be -4. So -12 divided by 3 will give you -4. So you saw on GeoGebra now that they use a dotted line, and that dotted line was the line equal x, the line x equal -4. Good? That's what you saw on GeoGebra. So that tells us that what we did right here is very much correct. Good? So now we're going to do the other portion. We'll do the other portion. And for those who are new to the channel, just wanted to know that God's willing, our lives are spared every Thursday night, 8 p.m. this time, Jamaica time. I will go live going through past paper questions with you and explaining the concepts there, principles there. And of course, if you want, well, we're encouraging you to go to our website to identify the worksheet or to get the access to the worksheet by clicking on ebooks, then YouTube questions, past papers and questions. It would make sense that you try these questions before you come to the live, and then you use the live now to see if your question, if what you did was wrong or if it was correct. And I think that would be more meaningful thing for you as subscribers to our channel. And of course, if you have any questions that you would love for us to go through, then please feel free to say so, and I will create a link for next session where you could submit a picture of the question that you would like us to go through. And of course, we will be, make sure those pictures are good pictures, All right. So let's now move to the part in red. All right. Let's move to the part in red. Okay. Now to the part that was in red, we're going to do that part now, was this portion. So we found one value of x. So note that in one portion, the values of x would be greater than -4. That's one part of the inequality. Now the other portion now, clearly it is saying that 3x plus 5 is less than or equal to 7. So we can right away rewrite this as 3x plus 5 is equal to 7. Then we can solve for x. So it's saying then now, it's obvious that only 2 plus 5 will give us 7. So therefore 3x then is equal to 2. You might be saying, but sir, you missed a step. True, because remember, if you put a box over this expression, you can simply ask yourself the question, what would this expression be equal to when added to 5 would give 7? Naturally 2. So this is a technique that you guys can use to move through when working algebraic expressions much faster. All right? So I'll give you a little thing that you can use, right? Now, the next question then, what value when multiplied by 3 would give me 2? Well, that answer here is 2/3. So therefore, x now, and if you want to know, you could plug in a greater value than 2/3 to say if x should be greater than 2/3. We know it's equal to it, but should it be greater than it? Let's see. If I plug in the value 1, they become 4 plus 5, which should not be less than 7. If I plug in the value 2, it becomes 6 plus 5 is 11, will not be greater than 7. So therefore, it cannot go beyond 2/3. Therefore, the value of x in this case would be less than or equal to 2/3. And then you can rewrite this now as x is greater than -4, less than or equal to 2/3. And I'm going to write it properly. A little bit jumbled, I believe. So let's write it properly. So therefore, all it should be written is that x in the middle is greater than -4, but less than or equal to 2/3. That is the answer for that part. Now, you might be saying to the, you might be asking the question, or you might be saying, but wait, sometimes I confuse the greater than the less than sign. Here is a little trick that you can use. Now, use your imagination, or you could just follow my instruction. You can bend your hand where you see the elbow. So you have an open space there between the hand and the arm. Good. Like you're making a V with your hand. So the part that is open up to your head, that's greater, and behind the elbow, that's less than. Okay? So this part is the elbow, and whatever is behind the elbow is less than. But whatever is in front of the elbow is greater than. I hope that trick works for you. Okay? All right, so we're going to now proceed further into our question. Now, this part of the question says that you should represent your answer in BI on the number line shown below. How is that done? Now, of course, we know that the answer based on the graph that we looked at. So let's look at the graph again. Here's a line basically. This is the line that you're going to draw. So GeoGebra shows us the line, isn't it? Quite interesting, isn't it? So the line is going to go here. That's the same line that you're going to draw on the exam paper. The same line. Good? So let's look at that. How that is done. So note you have a -4 and you have a value between 0 and 1, which we have worked that out already. So let's proceed then to that. All right. So of course, we're going to draw a line above that. Well, all right, let's use a different way, a different line rather. So let's use a straight line. And I'm going to show you something with this straight line. We're going to use two different circles. This circle that is transparent, and the other circle that is solid. Now, so this transparent circle would have represented that broken line that you saw on GeoGebra. And then you're going to put in your numbers naturally. And I'm going to put another number here. And I'm going to show you why. So this one would definitely be -4. And this one here would be 2/3 because x is equal to 2/3. And this one, I'm going to put the number 1. So we can see that the value falls between 0 and 1. And this now would be how you represent your answer. Okay? Same as how it is on the graph. Good. All right. So welcome to those persons who are online. You could say something in the chat. Come on, say something in the chat, folks. Come on, don't let the thing look boring. But want to say something in the chat, say something in the chat. It's even good night. You understand that if you're in England, it's probably good morning, perhaps, or wherever in the world you're from. Say good night, and you may not leave your name, but good night and state where you're from. It would be a pleasure to know that. If you want us to continue to do these presentations, say something in the chat. If you want us to continue to do the presentations, say something in the chat. If you want us to continue doing the presentations, if you have not yet subscribed, subscribe to the channel. And of course, if this is benefiting you, if it is helpful to you, you click on the like button. That's fair enough, right? Let's go. All right, so I'm going to move on now to part C of the question. So we're almost finished with this one. Now, the equation of a straight line. The equation of a straight line. Note, straight line. A straight line normal in a graph is something like that. Good? Okay, good night, Vida Grant. And I'm seeing Mona. Good night. Okay, thank you very much for saying something. That is nice. Glad to hear that. Okay, so I know Vida, but Mona, where are you from, Mona? Where is Mona from? Are you from Jamaica? Where are you from? All right. So straight line. Straight line. Good. So now we want to find the equation of the straight line. Now, if we go back to GeoGebra, if we go back to GeoGebra, well, I'll go back there shortly. But I'm going to show you something. Now, the equation of the straight line, and I want to leave a piece of advice with you before I tell you the equation of a straight line. Now, mathematics for some people might appear to be difficult, but it is not difficult. First, you need to be confident. And I would rather just say the first thing to do is to pray and ask God for the confidence. Ask God to give you the confidence. And if you believe in God, you will have confidence because He has encouraged us to have confidence in Him and trust Him. And if you have confidence in God, then you will believe and you will have confidence in yourself. Automatic, right? Good. Oh, so Mona is from Jamaica. All right, welcome, Mona. Welcome to the CDP Labs Edu channel and welcome to CDP Labs all together. Will you be doing exams, Mona? All right. Now, so I just wanted to understand. So first you have to have the confidence. You have to be patient. If you're experiencing anxiety, try to be patient. Don't think about the exam. Don't think about tomorrow. Don't think about next week. Think about now. The time you spend to worry, you use that time. Take your textbook and spend some time doing some maths. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to understand. The aim is to understand. I always tell my students, it's like a cheetah and a snail. If you notice, if you have a snail, put that snail on your papaya tree for some persons, and you will be surprised that sometime when you look back at that papaya tree, it's become almost leafless. Even caterpillar does that. So I'm just saying to you, it doesn't matter how long it takes. Be patient with yourself, focus on the now, and do not focus on tomorrow. Take your take your textbook and you practice. What does practice means? If you're doing a new topic, the textbook as example, take your time and understand the examples line by line, line by line. Question the example. Talk to the author. Ask the author, what did you do here? And you look to see what was done. When you discover it now, you start to learn more and more. And then you go to the exercise and you do all the question. Try that and tell me how it works out for you. All right, let us continue. Oh, you're not doing the exams. Okay, cool, no problem. All right, so let's now continue now. So y, the equation of the line is y equal mx plus c. Now, m is what we refer to as the gradient. So m is the gradient. Or the slope. So m is the gradient or the slope. And x is what we call the constant or the y-intercept. Preferably use the y-intercept. Y-intercept. Now, the y-intercept is when the value of x is equal to 0, and then whatever the value of y is become the value of C. And that is best explained on the graph, GeoGebra graph. And of course, as I said before, with CDP Library Services, our students will get assignments that will help them to think, develop their critical thinking skills, their reasoning skills. Because one of the reasons why students fail CXC maths exam, they normally fall down on the reasoning component. So they get an E for reasoning and end up with a grade 4 for the exam, which is not a passing grade. So we at CDP Library Services are working on that area. We have had students who have passed mathematics, of course, right, with quality grades and have moved on. Okay. All right. So this is we're aiming now to rewrite this expression. So the aim is to rewrite this expression to look like this. All right. Now the first part, no, they said this line crosses the y-axis at Q. Now Q is a point on the graph. So they're saying to you that that line crosses the y-axis at Q. Now, it asks us now to determine the coordinates of Q. What do we mean by the coordinates of Q? It's a point which have two values, the x value and the y value. All right? Now, the x value and the y value. So let's look at that then. So we're going to rewrite this expression to look like this. All right, let's see how that is done. Simple. You can cross multiply and you have 7x plus 3y all divided by 21. Looks like a fraction, you work it like a fraction, is equal to 1. Now you can cross multiply this again and say 21. You can now multiply both sides by 21 to get rid of the 21 there. So this 21 will get rid of this 21, and you have that. So therefore, you can set up the equation now and say, let me use this available part here. 7x plus 3y is equal to 21. Now we want to solve for y. So we're going to say 3y is equal to, let's say it's minus 7x. Okay, you're going to minus it, plus 21. And then now, we have to divide both sides by 3. So we're going to say y now is equal to negative 7. I'm going to put positive 3 here, x. And then 3 divided by 21, 21 divided by 3 rather, will give us positive 7. Now, so they're asking now to determine so this line crosses the y-axis at Q. They're suggesting to you that it wants to know the what? Y-intercept. Because the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. So they're asking you to tell us where the line crosses the y-axis. Now, when x is 0, so right there, and then you have your x value. When x is 0, then the value of y is 7. That's the answer. Now they have to find out what is the gradient of this line. Now the gradient is m, the coefficient of x, or the number in front of x. Now negative 7/3 is a number. It's a fraction. It's a mixed fraction. Sorry, well, improper fraction rather. But you could write it as a mixed fraction if you chose. But it's an improper fraction, so it's a number. So therefore the gradient, so we could write in this case that m is equal to negative 7/3. Now we can use a graph to prove this. So let's use a graph to prove this one. Are we ready to pull this one? All right, so ladies who are in the who responded in the chat, you could share the link with a friend or family who you think is doing the exam, or just about anybody who needs to learn, something here. All right, so we're going to use the graph now to prove it. So now we have both our answers there. So we have, but let's now see if we can prove this wrong or right using the graph. Let's go to GeoGebra. It's called a graphing calculator, right? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to put in, let's write it how they gave it to us first of all. So x by, well, not that. That should be x. Sorry. X divided by 4 plus y divided by 7 equal to 1. If you notice, the graph is not produced. So you have to then rewrite it. Good. So here it is. So now we wrote it or it was given to us. So look at it now. I'm going to drag this down so you can see. If you notice that the line cuts across the y-axis. Now please note that this line here is called the y-axis. That's called the y-axis. That line is called the y-axis. That's called the y-axis, right? So the line that runs across the y-axis. So this will be Q right here. Now, how do we read the point on the graph? 0 is on the x-axis because this line that runs horizontal rather, is the x-axis. So that's, all right. You see, if you live in the United States, if you live at the corner of a particular place and you're given the directions, you'd have to say I'm at the corner of Drum Lane Road and East 35. So if they find Drum Lane Road and they find East 35, they'll find where you live. It's the same thing right here. You're using two values, x value and the y value. Good? Using two values, x value and the y value. So right here is the x value. And let me kind of get it done. See? The y-intercept, 0, -7. So we get that answer out of the way. Now it has an intercept, there's an x-intercept too, or the root 4, 0. So where the line cuts across the x-axis is called the root, or you want to call it the x-intercept. Now, so our first question, part of the question was correct, 0, 7. So now let's find the gradient. There is a way to find the gradient using the graph, rise over run. So rise meaning change in y values, which is from here to here, which would be 7. From here to here. Good. But you must, all right. Let's do it. Let's do it properly. So you might be wondering how the negative value come into the answer. When you're reading a graph, you have to come this direction first, and then you come down. So you're coming down would suggest that is negative. The direction is negative. So you'd have -7. Good. And then you're going across to the positive. So from here to here is 1, 2, 3. Let me see. Well, it should be 4. Well, 4 is a part of it still. No problem. No problem. Oh, no problem. Oh. But we could use also, you can use any 2 points on the graph actually. All right. So this is a gradient. Right? Rise over run. If we're using these 2 points. Now, let's rewrite it how we have it and see what happens right here. All right. So the graph get that, but that's all right. No problem with that. But that's how it is done actually. Let's rewrite it now and see if we get about the same graph itself. So what we had for our answer, what we wrote first, what we wrote, we were saying that it was uh well, we said -7 third x plus 7. There you have it. So we still have our y-intercept. Good. All right. That's it. When you write the equation of the line, how it's supposed to be written. All right. Okay. There we go. So now we're going to move on now and wrap it up. All right. So that's it. That's it. We have completed our second question. And we're going to move on to our third question come next week. So next week, definitely, we'll complete relations and functions and graphs set of questions. Then the week after, you'll get the new worksheet. And I believe we might be going into either vectors and matrices, or we might be going into, oh, it will be geometry and trigonometry. All right? Geometry and trigonometry, which will include translation, transformation geometry that tend to give other person's problem. Now, to get the teaching from CDP Labs Services, it would make sense that you sign up with the institution. Just to show you, this is our website that you're now looking at. We are a member of Jamaica Online School Association, which is subdivided into different institutions offering um, specialize. So each group in the school, they specialize. So of course, you'll find that BizWiz will offer business subjects, both Asana School of Business and Business Tutoring Services. Those schools offer courses in the business area. And of course, AB Tutoring Services will also offer English language and reading. For anybody who cannot read, you can sign up with AB Tutoring Services. CDP Labs Services and SAID Mathematics Tutoring Services. Those two schools, where CDP Labs will offer the science and maths, and SAID is specializing specifically in mathematics. Now, of course, when you go to the website, you might see a certain figure, but of course, persons who come to our live sessions and persons who there's a program that you do to get a coupon, and you do the first lesson, which is on our website, and you get a certificate, and that certificate can then be exchanged for a coupon, and that coupon will give you a discount. So don't watch the prices that you see there. Don't watch those prices. We will give you that discount. Good? We'll give you a discount, a good discount that can make the classes affordable to you, of course. And of course, you'll be able to sign up with CDP Labs Edu Services. So if you want to register with any of the schools, you visit our website, which is cdplabseduservices.com. All right. So if you want to screenshot it, let me let you see. This is our website address, cdplabseduservices.com. All right. So you can screenshot it and visit the website to also get the worksheets. If you have not yet get the worksheet we're looking at, you can go to the website still, click on YouTube questions, past papers, questions, and then you can do the final question on your own and come next week to see how it is done. All right. I sincerely hope that this session was helpful to you, it was meaningful to you. If it was helpful, if it was meaningful, you could say something in the chat. If it was helpful, you could say yes, it was helpful. If it was not helpful, you could say no, it was not helpful. And of course, if you like this session, click on the thumbs up and continue to support CDP Lazarus Services because we have lots of surprise coming up. Um, Normally we tend to be very interactive with our we have competition between our Zoom students or registered students and students on YouTube. We have a competition and we have giveaways. I will not say lots of giveaways, but we have giveaways. Normally our giveaways are in the sense of phone cards. Now you don't know when that feature will come on board. We have done it in the past before, but we're going to go back to that again. But you will not know when that feature come on board. So it's best to subscribe now so that when we come on board, you will know. Of course, the on our website, we will definitely tell you when that feature will come on board so we can get your cell numbers so we can send you the credits to your cell number, whether it be Digicel or Lime, wherever in the Caribbean you are. And of course, we will definitely support you while you support us on our channel. So, of course, it is once again goodbye from yours truly, and we are saying goodbye. All right, good night once again. And yes, I saw your message, Mona. Thank you for your comment. Um, and we look forward to see you next week. So I hope you'll go to the website. I don't know if you have visited the website as yet to get access to the worksheet that we're going through. Did you go to the website? Let me know if you went to the website to get access to that worksheet. So if not, go to the website so you can get access to the worksheet. All right. So let me know if you went to the website before to get access to the worksheet. And if you didn't, as I said before, it's best to go to the website, access the worksheet, go through it before you come to the session. And of course, it will even be more meaningful to you. So let me know. Have a pleasant night. Have a good night. It's peace out from CDP Labs Edu Services.